The rain wasn't the polite, drizzling kind that you see in movies where the protagonist looks thoughtfully out of a window. It was a violent, thrashing downpour that felt like the sky was trying to scrub the very memory of you off the face of the earth. I stood in front of my bedroom mirror, my hands trembling just enough to make zipping up the back of my dress a challenge. People expect black. They expect muted charcoal, navy blue, or maybe a somber forest green if you are feeling daring. But as I looked at the garment hanging on the door, I knew that none of those colors would suffice. I reached for the silk. It was the color of a fresh wound, a deep, defiant crimson that seemed to pulse under the fluorescent lights of my apartment. I pulled it on, the fabric cool against my skin, and as I turned to see my reflection, I didn't feel grief. I felt like a warning. You always loved it when I was loud, didn't you? You used to tell me that my energy was the only thing that kept you grounded, which was a lie, of course. You were never grounded. You were a kite with a severed string, drifting wherever the wind of your own ego took you. And for 3 years, I was the one chasing you through briars and over fences, trying to catch you before you hit the ground. Well, you finally hit it. And today, I was going to make sure everyone knew exactly what kind of mess you left behind. I grabbed my coat, a long black trench that hid the dress for now. I wasn't ready to give away the ending just yet. The drive to the funeral home was a blur of rhythmic windshield wipers and the smell of damp upholstery. My mind kept drifting back to the last time we spoke. You had been sitting on the edge of our bed, checking your reflection in your phone's screen, adjusting that expensive watch I bought you for our anniversary. You didn't even look at me when you said you needed space. Space. It is such a convenient word, isn't it? It sounds so scientific and cold, when what you really meant was that you had found someone new who didn't know your secrets yet. Someone who still thought your arrogance was confidence and your cruelty was just honesty. I pulled into the gravel lot of the chapel. The cars were already lined up like a row of shiny black beetles. I saw your mother standing near the entrance, draped in lace and clutching a damp handkerchief. She always hated me. She thought I was too sharp, too much of a New Yorker for her golden boy. I wondered if she knew about the girl in the apartment downtown. I wondered if she knew about the bank accounts you drained or the way you used to silence me with a single look. Probably not. To her, you were a saint who had been taken too soon in a tragic accident. To me, you were a lesson I was finally finished learning. I stepped out of the car, the wind whipping my hair across my face. I kept the coat buttoned tight. I walked toward the doors, my heels clicking on the pavement with a finality that made my heart race. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of lilies and old wood. It is a smell that stays in your clothes for days, a reminder of the permanence of the end. I took a seat in the very back row. I wanted to watch. I wanted to see the parade of mourners, the people who thought they knew you, the colleagues who praised your work ethic, and the friends who toasted to your loyalty. The service began with a low hum of organ music that vibrated in my chest. One by one, people stood up to speak. Your brother went first. He talked about how you used to catch fireflies in jars when you were kids. He cried when he mentioned how much you loved your family. I sat there, my hands folded in my lap, feeling the silk of the red dress beneath my coat. I remembered the night you threw a glass against the wall because the dinner I made was cold. I remembered how you made me apologize for bleeding on the carpet. Fireflies in jars. You were always good at catching things and watching them die. Then came the girl. I had seen her on your Instagram feed, lurking in the backgrounds of photos, a shadow that slowly grew more defined over the months. She was young, maybe 23, with wide eyes that were currently rimmed with red. She walked up to the podium and started talking about your soul. She called you her North Star. She said you were planning a future together, a life full of travel and light. I felt a laugh bubbling up in my throat, a dark, jagged thing that I had to swallow down. She didn't know about the debt. She didn't know that the North Star was actually a sinking ship. The tension in my chest was reaching a breaking point. The preacher started talking about the transition from this life to the next, about the purity of the spirit. It was all so sanitized. It was a lie wrapped in a eulogy. I waited for the moment when they invited the immediate family and close friends to come forward for the final viewing before the casket was closed. This was it. I stood up. The movement was slow and deliberate. A few people in the back rows turned to look at me, probably wondering who the woman in the black coat was. I walked down the center aisle. My boots were silent on the carpet, but I felt like I was screaming. As I reached the front, right before the open mahogany box where you lay looking paler and more still than you ever were in life, I stopped. The room went quiet. Even the girls stopped sobbing. Your mother looked up at me, her eyes narrowing in confusion. I reached for the top button of my coat, then the second, then the third. I let the black fabric slide off my shoulders. It pooled at my feet like a shed skin. The gasp that went through the room was audible. It was a collective intake of breath, a shockwave that rippled through the pews. There I stood, a vibrant, screaming red stain in a room full of shadows. I looked down at you. They had done a good job with the makeup. You looked peaceful. You looked like someone who had never told a lie in his life. I leaned over the edge of the casket, close enough that I could smell the chemicals and the waxy scent of the flowers. I whispered it soft enough that only you could have heard it if you were still there. I told you that I found the letters. I told you that I knew where you hid the money. And then, I did something that I knew would haunt your mother's dreams for a decade. I took a deep red lipstick out of my pocket, swiped it across my lips, and leaned down to kiss your forehead. I left a bright, bloody-looking mark right between your eyes. I turned around to face the congregation. Your mother was on her feet now, her face contorted in rage. The girl was staring at me with horror. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. The dress said everything. It said that I was alive. It said that I was finished being your mourner. It said that the fire you tried to put out was now burning the whole house down. I picked up my coat and walked back up the aisle. Nobody tried to stop me. They were too stunned, too caught up in the sacrilege of the moment. I pushed through the heavy wooden doors and stepped back out into the rain. The air felt different now. It felt clean. I walked to my car, the red silk dampening and clinging to my legs. I sat in the driver's seat for a long time, watching the rain wash the dust off my windshield. I thought about the 3 years I spent wearing beige and gray, trying to blend into the background of your life so I wouldn't set you off. I thought about the girl inside and wondered how long it would take her to realize that the mark on your forehead wasn't just lipstick. It was a brand. I started the engine. As I backed out of the space, I saw a black car pull up. It was the private investigator I had hired 6 months ago. He stepped out, holding a folder full of the documents you thought you had destroyed. He walked toward the chapel doors. He had instructions to hand that folder to your business partners the moment the service ended. I drove away from the cemetery, heading toward the highway. The red dress felt like a second skin now, a bright flag of victory. I didn't look back in the rearview mirror. There was nothing left to see but the smoke of a bridge I had finally, beautifully, burned to the ground. The road ahead was open and dark, stretched out under a sky that was finally starting to clear. I reached over to the passenger seat and picked up my phone. I deleted your number. I deleted our photos. I deleted the voice memos where you told me I was nothing without you. By the time I reached the city limits, I was humming. It wasn't a sad song. It was the kind of song you sing when you finally realize that the person who died wasn't just you. It was the version of me that let you win. I realized then that wearing red wasn't just about the shock factor. It was about reclaiming the color. Red is the color of passion, sure, but it is also the color of stop signs. It is the color of the ink in the ledger when everything is in the negative. It is the color of the blood that keeps a heart beating even after it has been broken into 1,000 pieces. I stopped at a diner about 50 miles outside of town. It was a greasy, neon-lit place where the coffee tasted like battery acid and the waitress didn't ask questions. I walked in, still in the red dress, and sat at the counter. "Rough night," the waitress asked, sliding a mug toward me. "The best night of my life," I told her. She looked at the dress, then at my face, and she smiled. It was a knowing smile, the kind shared between women who have survived things they don't talk about. She didn't charge me for the pie. As I sat there, watching the headlights of passing trucks flicker against the window, I thought about your grave. By now, the dirt would be piled high. The flowers would be wilting in the cold, and your name would be etched in stone, fixed and unmoving. But I was moving. I was vibrating with a frequency I hadn't felt since I was 20 years old. I pulled out my laptop and opened the draft of the email I had prepared. It was addressed to the district attorney. It contained the digital trail of the embezzlement you thought you had scrubbed from the servers. You thought your death would bury the evidence, that the investigation would die with the man. But you forgot one thing. You forgot that I was the one who set up your filing system. I knew every password, every hidden folder, every offshore routing number. I hit send. The click of the mouse felt like the final nail. I closed the screen and took a bite of the cherry pie. It was sweet, tart, and exactly the same shade as my dress. I realized then that justice doesn't always come in a courtroom. Sometimes it comes in a chapel, in the middle of a rainy afternoon, wearing a garment that refuses to be ignored. I stayed in that diner until the sun started to peek over the horizon. The sky turned a pale, bruised purple, then a soft, glowing orange. I walked back to my car, the morning air crisp and biting. I felt light. I felt like I could float away if I didn't keep my boots firmly planted on the gravel. I drove back home, but I didn't go to our apartment. I had moved my things out weeks ago, bit by bit, while you were busy at your late-night meetings that were actually dinners with the girl. I drove to the small studio I had rented on the other side of the park. It was empty except for a bed, a desk, and a few boxes. It was perfect. I stripped off the red dress and hung it up in the center of the room. It looked like a trophy. I climbed into bed and fell into the deepest, most peaceful sleep I had had in years. I didn't dream of you. I didn't dream of the accident or the funeral or the look on your mother's face. I dreamed of a field of poppies, thousands of them, waving in the wind, bold and bright and utterly free. When I woke up, the sun was high in the sky. My phone was buzzing with missed calls and frantic text messages. Your brother, your lawyer, even the girl. They had found the folder. They had seen the email. The legacy you spent your life building was crumbling in real time, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. I ignored them all. I got up, made a pot of coffee, and sat by the window. I watched the people walking their dogs in the park. I watched the world go on, indifferent to the fact that you were gone and I was finally here. I looked at the red dress hanging on the wall. Tomorrow, I might wear yellow, or maybe a bright electric blue. But for today, the red was enough. It was more than enough. It was the end of a story I never wanted to be in, and the first sentence of a book I was finally writing for myself. You always said I looked best in neutral tones. You said they made me look sophisticated. What you meant was they made me look invisible. You wanted a woman who was a background to your foreground. You wanted a ghost who could cook and clean and smile on cue. Well, the ghost is gone, and in her place is something you never could have handled. I took a sip of my coffee and smiled. The lipstick mark on your forehead was probably being washed away by a mortician right about now, but the stain I left on your reputation would be permanent. That was the thing about you. You were so worried about how things looked that you forgot to worry about what they actually were. You built a house of cards and expected me to hold my breath so it wouldn't fall. I breathed out long and slow. The house was down. The wind was blowing. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't cold. The days that followed were a whirlwind of legal depositions and angry phone calls. Your family tried to sue me, of course. They claimed I was defaming a dead man. But you can't defame the truth. Every document I handed over was verified. Every cent I pointed to was found. The saintly image you had cultivated was replaced by the reality of a man who was as hollow as a drum. I watched it all from a distance. I didn't go to the reading of the will. I didn't need to. I had already taken the only thing that mattered to me, my own life back. I saw a photo of the girl in the newspaper a week later. She looked older. The wide-eyed innocence was gone, replaced by the weary look of someone who had realized they were the last person to be told the joke. I felt a momentary pang of sympathy for her, but it passed quickly. She would learn just like I did, or she wouldn't. Either way, she wasn't my responsibility. The red dress eventually went into a box at the back of my closet. I don't wear it much anymore. I don't need to. The fire it represented has settled into a steady, warm glow. I have a job now, one that you would have hated. I work for a nonprofit that helps women get out of situations just like the one I was in. I tell them my story sometimes. I tell them about the boy who caught fireflies and the girl who wore red to his funeral. I tell them that the ending isn't when the person leaves. The ending is when you stop waiting for them to come back and apologize. The ending is when you realize that the most powerful thing you can be is a witness to your own truth. Sometimes, when it rains, I think about that afternoon in the chapel. I think about the silence that fell when I dropped my coat. It was the most beautiful sound I have ever heard. It was the sound of 1,000 lies being drowned out by a single, loud truth. I am sitting on my balcony now, watching the sunset. The sky is a riot of colors, pinks, purples, and a deep, burning orange that reminds me of that silk fabric. I am not a ghost anymore. I am not a background. I am the whole damn sky. You thought you could leave me in the dark, but all you did was give me the chance to find the light. And it is bright. It is so, so bright. I remember the way you used to look at me when I challenged you. That cold, hard stare that was meant to make me feel small. I used to shrink under it. I used to apologize for things I didn't do just to make the look go away. If you could see me now, you wouldn't recognize me. I don't shrink for anyone. I don't apologize for existing. The red dress taught me that. It taught me that sometimes you have to be the loudest thing in the room just to hear yourself think. It taught me that respect isn't something you earn by being quiet. It is something you demand by being real. I heard from your brother recently. He called me, surprisingly enough. He didn't yell. He just sounded tired. He asked me why I did it, why I couldn't have just let the family grieve in peace, why I had to turn the funeral into a circus. I told him the truth. I told him that I didn't turn it into a circus. I just stopped being the lion tamer. I told him that if he wanted peace, he should have asked his brother to be a better man while he was still alive. He didn't have much to say after that. He hung up, and I haven't heard from him since. I wonder if they still go to the grave. I wonder if they bring flowers and talk to the headstone. I hope they do. I hope they find some kind of comfort in the ritual. But as for me, I haven't been back. I don't need to visit a piece of granite to remember who you were. I carry the lesson in my bones. I am wearing a white sweater today. It is soft and simple and clean. It doesn't scream. It doesn't have to. I am not trying to prove anything anymore. I am just living. The city is starting to wake up, the lights of the buildings blinking on like 1,000 tiny eyes. It is a big world, and for a long time I made mine so small that you were the only thing in it. Never again. I think about the lipstick mark sometimes. I wonder if it stayed there beneath the lid, a tiny red stain on a pale forehead. I like to think it did. A little piece of the truth, buried 6 feet under where it can never be hidden again. The waitress from the diner called me a few months ago. She had seen the news about the investigation. She just wanted to tell me she was proud of me. We talked for an hour about nothing and everything. She is going back to school to be a nurse. We are planning to meet up for pie again soon. It is strange how the world opens up when you stop trying to hold it closed. I have started painting again. You used to tell me my art was a waste of time, that it didn't have any commercial value. I realized you were right, but for the wrong reasons. It doesn't have commercial value. It has soul value. I paint with reds and oranges and yellows. My canvases are loud and messy and beautiful, just like me. I am looking at a new piece I started this morning. It is a portrait of a woman standing in the rain. She isn't crying. She isn't looking for cover. She is just standing there, her arms wide open, soaking it all in. She is wearing a dress that is so bright it looks like it is on fire. I think I will call it the first day. Because that is what it was. The funeral wasn't an end for me. It was a beginning. It was the moment I stepped out of the shadow and into the light. It was the moment I stopped being your wife and started being myself. And myself is more than enough. I look out at the horizon one last time before I go inside. The sun has dipped below the edge, but the glow is still there, lingering in the air. It is a warm, steady light. It is the color of a promise kept. I go into my kitchen and start making dinner. I use the good plates. I drink the expensive wine. I listen to music that makes me want to dance around the room. And I do. I dance in the middle of my empty studio, under the warm glow of the lamps. I am happy. Not the kind of happy that depends on someone else's mood or the state of a bank account. I am happy in a way that is quiet and solid and mine. I think about the girl sometimes, the one who called you her North Star. I hope she finds her own way. I hope she realizes that stars are beautiful to look at, but they are cold and millions of miles away. You can't build a life on a light that doesn't give off any heat. I am my own North Star now, and I am burning brighter than ever. The red dress is still in the closet, a splash of color in the dark. Every now and then, I catch a glimpse of it when I am reaching for a coat or a pair of jeans. I don't feel sad when I see it. I don't feel angry. I just feel a quiet sense of pride. I wore red to your funeral because I wanted the world to see what you tried to hide. I wore red because I was done with black. I wore red because it was the only color that could match the fire in my heart. And as I sit down to eat, I realize that the best part of the whole story isn't the dress or the lipstick or the folder of evidence. The best part is that I am here to tell it. I am here, I am whole, and I am wearing whatever I want. The night is quiet now, the city noise softened by the distance. I finish my wine and look at the empty glass. It is clear and bright, reflecting the light from the ceiling. I think about you one last time, not with hatred, but with a kind of distant curiosity. I wonder if you ever realized how much power you gave me by trying to take mine away. You were the catalyst. You were the storm that forced me to build a stronger house. So, in a way, I should thank you. Thank you for the lies. Thank you for the silence. Thank you for the space you thought you needed. It was exactly what I needed, too. I turn off the lights and head to bed. The room is dark, but I don't mind. I have plenty of light inside. Good night, wherever you are. I hope the view from down there is exactly what you deserved. The story is over now. The pages are turned. The ink is dry. And as I close my eyes, I feel the weight of the day lift off my chest. I am free. I am finally truly free. The red dress is just a dress now. The funeral is just a memory. And tomorrow is just a day. But it's my day, and that is everything. I think about the poppies again. Thousands of them, bright and bold and beautiful. I can see them so clearly now. They are stretching as far as the eye can see, swaying in a breeze that smells like salt and earth. I am walking through them. My feet are bare. The sun is warm on my back. And I am wearing red. Not because I have a point to prove, not because I want to shock anyone. I am wearing red because it is my favorite color. And for the first time in my life, that is reason enough. I drift off to sleep with a smile on my face. The world is big and wide and full of possibilities, and I am ready for all of them. The silence of the night is peaceful. It isn't the heavy, suffocating silence of the chapel. It is the light, airy silence of a room where someone is finally at rest. I am at rest. I am home. And the red dress is exactly where it belongs. In the closet, in the dark, a reminder of a battle won and a life reclaimed. I don't need it tonight. I have myself. And that is more than enough. The rain has stopped. The streets are drying. The world is moving on. And so am I. One step at a time. One color at a time. One day at a time. I am the girl who wore red to your funeral. But today, I am just the woman who is alive. And that is the best story of all. I wake up the next morning to the sound of birds. It is a simple sound, one I used to ignore, but today it sounds like music. I get out of bed and stretch. My muscles feel strong. My mind feels clear. I walk over to the window and look out at the park. The trees are green and vibrant. The flowers are blooming. I think about the dress. I think about the girl. I think about the man who is gone. And then I stop thinking about them. I think about breakfast. I think about my painting. I think about the woman I am becoming. The red dress was a statement, but the rest of my life is going to be a conversation. A long, beautiful, honest conversation. And I can't wait to see what I have to say next. I walk to the closet and pull out a soft, yellow sundress. It is the color of buttercups and sunshine. I pull it on and look in the mirror. I look good. I look like someone who is ready for anything. I look like me. And that is the only reflection that matters. I grab my keys and head out the door. The air is fresh and cool. The sun is bright. I start walking. I don't have a destination in mind. I just want to move. I want to feel the ground beneath my feet and the wind in my hair. I want to see the world. And I want the world to see me. The woman in the yellow dress. The woman who used to wear red. The woman who is finally home. I pass a flower shop and stop. I buy a bunch of sunflowers. They are big and bright and a little bit wild. I carry them down the street, their heavy heads nodding against my arm. I feel like I am carrying a piece of the sun. I pass a park bench and sit down for a moment. I watch a young couple walking hand in hand. They look happy. I hope they are. I hope they stay that way. But if they don't, I hope they have the strength to walk away. I hope they know that the end of a relationship isn't the end of a life. I look at my sunflowers. They are so bright they almost hurt to look at. I love them. I stand up and keep walking. There is so much to see, so much to do, so much to be. I am not afraid anymore. I am not hiding. I am just me. And that is the most powerful thing in the world. The girl in the red dress is a legend now. A story whispered in the halls of the funeral home and across the dinner tables of the people who knew you. But the woman in the yellow dress is real. She is here. She is now. And she is never going back. I reach the end of the block and turn the corner. The sun is high in the sky, casting long, beautiful shadows on the pavement. I look at my own shadow. It is tall and straight and strong. I smile. I am exactly where I am supposed to be. And I am wearing exactly what I want. The red dress is a memory. The yellow dress is a choice. And I am the one making it. I keep walking, my sunflowers held high, into the bright, beautiful, unknown future. And I don't look back. Not even once. Because the view ahead is so much better. The view ahead is mine. And it is absolutely breathtaking. I can see the horizon now, clear and sharp. It is waiting for me. And I am ready for it. The red dress was the beginning of the end. But this is the beginning of everything else. And it is beautiful. It is so beautiful. I take a deep breath and keep going. The sun is warm, the air is sweet. And I am free. I am finally, truly free. And that is the end of the story. Or maybe it is just the first chapter. I think I like that better. The first chapter of a brand new book. And I am the one holding the pen. I look at my hand. It is steady. I am ready to write. I am ready to live. I am ready. The woman in the yellow dress disappears into the crowd, her sunflowers a bright spot of color in the sea of people. She is happy. She is whole. She is her. And that is all she ever needed to be.